Hello and welcome back to Management Information Systems. This is Module 8 and we'll be talking about analyzing table data. So one of the things that we're going to talk about are how to filter a table, create a custom filter, use the advanced filters, extract table data, look up values, summarize table data, validate, and create subtotals. So filter is a display, it displays records that meet a certain criteria. Auto-filter uses that list or that drop-down item in order to do search criteria. It actually has automatically put in search criteria for you to choose from. And search criteria are the text that you are searching for. So here's an example of an auto-filter. As you can see, it's brought in criteria that you can use in order to do searches. A custom auto filter, what it does is it creates a complex filter so you can narrow your search. Comparison operators. So we talked about operators as being greater than or less than, greater than and equal to, greater than or less than. Those are all operators that you can use. Comparison operators in filters would be greater than and or less than. Logical conditions would be and, where both criteria are met in order for it to be true. Or is when one or more criteria are met and then it's true. So here's an example of an auto filter dialog box, and what it's saying is or it's using the or function, and it's using dates to do comparison. And then what it does is when you choose your range of data, it will bring up the criteria that meets one or more of the conditions, and if that's the case, it'll put it in the data that it brings to you. You can apply conditional formatting to a table. You have formatting a range of worksheet is same as formatting a range of worksheet data. You can use multiple rules and you can use a function when you do the conditional formatting. So a criteria range is a range of cells that contains one row of labels and at least one additional row underneath. An AND condition is criteria in the same row, an OR condition is criteria in different rows. So let's take a look. Here's an example of criteria that are in the same row indicating an AND condition. So you have it's greater than the date 6/1/2017. Oops, let's go back. And it's less than 2000. So you can also use the advanced filter, and you can emphasize top and bottom ranks of values using that conditional formatting. You can also format a worksheet to use a color scale and an icon set, so it makes it easier for you to identify data. You can extract data or filter data and copy it into a different range. The Excel can automatically create the range names and the criteria and extract when you define the criteria range and copy it to a location. The criteria range includes the field names and any criteria rows underneath them. An extract range just includes the field names above the extracted table. And this will make more sense as you go through your assignments in Module 8. An OR criteria is in separate rows, and you can extract data records. So here, if you take a look, the criteria range is it's greater than, let me go back, it's greater than 6/1/2017, or it's less than 2000. And then what happens is it extracts that data that you asked for, and you can use that data for your informational purposes. So there's also what is called lookup values in tables. So VLOOKUP locates values, and what it does is it searches vertically down the leftmost column, and it reads across the row to the value in a specified column. Other lookup functions are HLOOKUP, which searches horizontally across the upper row, and match finds the position of an item in a range. Transpose rearranges a range of cells. So here's an example of a completed function arguments dialog box using VLOOKUP. So it's saying, okay, this is the value you need to look up, and this is the table, and this is the column number, and what you need to do is you need to have a false, and it equals dolphin. So what you've done is you've given it a range of value, and you've given it arguments, and you've told it where to go so that you can find out whether or not you have any data that matches that. There's also other data functions like dget, dsum, daverage, dcount, dcount_a, and these are all database functions that can be used to summarize table data. So here's a completed function argument dialog box for dsum. Again, you identify the database, the field, and the criteria, and it will give you the data that matches that criteria. So here's an example of result generated by a database function, and you can see over here, here's the information that it's providing. You can validate table data as well. This allows you to specify what data users can enter in a range of cells. You can restrict data by whole numbers, decimal numbers, text, and you can specify what is acceptable. Excel can display an error message when data is invalid. It can display an input message when users select that cell, and it can also create an error alert. Here's an example of validating data and that invalid data warning that you get when you have invalid data. There's also the ability to create subtotals, and an example of that would be sum, count, average, max, min, and you've used that before in other exercises that we've done. Here's an example of using the dialog box to use the sum function, and it makes it easy because that dialog box gives you those arguments and gives you those ranges so that you can go ahead and automatically make choices and get the information that you need. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next module.